When people looked at Ethan Carter, they saw one of the youngest billionaires in the country. He owned a successful technology company, lived in a luxurious mansion, and appeared on the covers of business magazines. But behind the wealth and success was a lonely single father raising his 7-year-old daughter, Lily. 3 years earlier, Ethan had lost his wife in a tragic car accident. Since then, every relationship he tried ended the same way. Women admired his money more than his heart. Some wanted expensive gifts, others dreamed of becoming the wife of a billionaire. None truly cared about Lily or the simple life Ethan secretly wished for. One evening, Ethan visited his mother, Margaret Carter, the respected CEO of Carter Industries. "You look tired," Margaret said gently. "I am," Ethan admitted. "I don't know who I can trust anymore." Margaret smiled thoughtfully. "Then stop showing people who you really are." "What do you mean? You've never tried living like an ordinary man." Those words stayed in Ethan's mind all night. A week later, Ethan walked into Carter Industries wearing simple blue cleaner overalls, work gloves, and worn-out sneakers. No one recognized him. Even the security staff believed he was a newly hired cleaner named Evan. Only his mother and the head of security knew his true identity. On his first day, most employees ignored him. Some left coffee cups on desks expecting him to clean them. Others walked past without saying thank you. A few even laughed at his old clothes. But Ethan wasn't upset. He wanted to discover people's true character. One afternoon, while mopping the lobby floor, someone accidentally dropped a stack of files. "I'm so sorry," a soft voice said. A young woman quickly knelt beside him. Instead of walking away, she helped collect every paper. "My name is Grace," she smiled. "I work in accounting." Ethan noticed something different. Grace never looked down on him. Every morning, she greeted him with a smile. Sometimes she brought him an extra sandwich during lunch. "You work hard," she would say. "Everyone deserves kindness." Weeks turned into months. Ethan quietly observed everyone. Many employees pretended to be polite whenever Margaret Carter was nearby, but Grace treated everyone with respect all the time. The receptionist, the security guards, the janitors, and even delivery drivers. One rainy evening, Ethan found Grace crying outside the building. "My father is in the hospital," she whispered. "I've been working overtime to pay his medical bills." Without revealing who he was, Ethan drove her to the hospital in his old second-hand car. Grace thanked him repeatedly. "You've helped me more than anyone at work," she said. Despite her struggles, Grace never complained. She worked honestly every day. One Friday, Margaret Carter announced an important company celebration. "Tomorrow evening," she told the employees, "everyone is invited to our annual appreciation dinner." The entire office buzzed with excitement. Grace almost skipped the event because she couldn't afford an elegant dress. When Ethan heard this, he secretly arranged for an anonymous gift box to be delivered to her apartment. Inside was a beautiful navy blue evening dress with a note. "Kindness is always beautiful." Grace smiled with tears in her eyes. The following evening, the grand ballroom sparkled with lights. Employees arrived wearing expensive suits and glamorous gowns. Grace entered quietly, grateful for the mysterious gift. Then whispers spread across the room. The cleaners had been invited too. Everyone laughed when Ethan walked in wearing his cleaning uniform. "Wrong party," one manager mocked. Another employee laughed. "Maybe he's here to mop the dance floor." Grace immediately walked over. "You belong here as much as anyone." She invited Ethan to sit beside her.
Moments later, Margaret Carter stepped onto the stage.
"I have one final announcement," she said. "I'd like everyone to meet the man who has spent the last 3 months working among you." The room became silent. Ethan slowly removed his work jacket. The head of security handed him an elegant black suit. Within minutes, the humble cleaner stood before everyone looking exactly like the billionaire featured in magazines. Gasps echoed through the ballroom. Several employees turned pale. Some who had insulted him couldn't even raise their heads. Margaret continued, "My son wasn't testing your skills. He was discovering your character." Then Ethan looked directly at Grace. "During these months, many people judged me because of my uniform. But one person saw my heart instead." He walked toward Grace. "You respected me when you believed I had nothing. You cared about people no one else noticed. You reminded me that true wealth is kindness." Grace was speechless. "I don't know what to say," she whispered. Ethan smiled. Would you allow me to take you to dinner, not as a cleaner, not as a billionaire, but simply as a man who admires your heart?" With tears in her eyes, Grace nodded. Yes. The ballroom erupted into applause. Months later, Ethan and Grace continued dating. She never asked about his money. Instead, she spent weekends reading stories with Lily, helping her with homework, and volunteering together at children's charities. One afternoon, Lily hugged Grace tightly. "Can I call you Mom someday?" Grace's eyes filled with tears. "If that's what makes you happy." A year later, Ethan and Grace were married in a small garden ceremony surrounded by family, friends, and the employees who had learned an unforgettable lesson. Margaret smiled proudly as she watched her son finally find happiness. Ethan realized something priceless. Money can buy luxury. Power can earn respect. Success can create admiration. But only kindness reveals a person's true heart. And sometimes, the greatest love story begins with a man holding a mop instead of $1 million title.